The New York Jets did it on a napkin. I guess it works.
Yeah.
And essentially said it turned out to be the best thing
Way to write on a
he's
napkin.
ever done.
Yeah, just open this when I leave. I tell you what, man, he just continues. I don't know why he hates the Jets so much. You worked for him. They offered you the job. If you didn't want it, why did you take it? Like, it's one of those things, he keeps picking the scab. And to me, it sounds like a swan song. Like, now when you start reflecting on some of the greatest decisions that you ever made, that's when I think you're getting ready to leave. And you think about Josh McDaniels. A couple of years ago, he had an opportunity to go to Indianapolis and to be the head coach. All of a sudden, he reversed field, came back to the Patriots, and all of a sudden, Bill Belichick says, I'm going to give you my world. First of all, of course, I would have out Josh McDaniels. What the hell you been giving me since I've been here all this time? If you want to give me your world, like now you want to give it to me? I think he's going to give Josh McDaniels his world pretty soon. I just think the world is going to be on fire without a franchise quarterback because it's the perfect time for Bill Belichick to ride off into the sunset. And he's always loved the Giants. He's got a soft spot for the Giants. I can see Bill Belichick coming and pulling a Phil Jackson and being the general manager for the New York Football Giants, replacing Gettleman and working with Joe Judge, his young protege.
Hang on a second. We can't bury the lead here. Swan song for Bill Belichick and the idea he would leave after a season like this?
Yes. Do you want to be...
After all of that success, he's going to walk out like this?
It's not going to get better.
And he's going to walk out, period?
Bill Belichick's been pointing the finger. I've never heard Bill Belichick point the finger. He's always been a guy that pointed the thumb. When he had that interview and he was on the radio, he tried to clean it up, saying, "Hey, you know, we went all in for these Super Bowls for 5 years, and listen, we just don't have money." They're in a rebuilding phase. Bill is in his late 60s. You think he wants to stay around for a rebuild so Tom Brady can be down there in Tampa and saying, "Hey, it was all me, it was all me"? He don't got the weapons or the ammunition that he needs to be successful. This is a rebuild. They're in a rebuild, whether they want to admit it or not. I know they're celebrating, Cam is celebrating the fact that they beat the Jets. Like, really? You beat the Ophir Jets, and this is like celebrating. You guys are patting yourself on the back.
Well, they have the Raiders coming up next.
But you're the Patriots. The Jets, that was supposed to be a given. So I think that Bill Belichick maybe really is kind of laying the platform for him to say, you know what, Josh McDaniels, here you go. It's been real. I holla.
Well, in defense of Bill Belichick, you said that he was having moments of reflection. I don't know if he was reflecting that moment as much as maybe he was answering a question. I just want to pose that. Maybe he was answering somebody's question about his time with the Jets or maybe one of the first moments of his career.
I hate when facts and logic gets in the way of my rant.
But you really think he's going to leave the past?
But Zubin, let me add on to that. Just because, look, as a Giants fan, I know Dave Gettleman isn't it. As long as, Phil Jackson, you gave that analogy, as long as he's not falling asleep during workouts, I might like this for Bill Belichick. But I will say this. There's nothing wrong with having optionality. And in a day and age where there's so many things that are happening and it's happening that fast, I agree with you. I was shocked to hear Bill Belichick say, "Hey, we're cap strapped, right? We're cap strapped." I've never heard him kind of give an excuse or give context to reasoning or helping people understand why this team is struggling. He's always kind of just carried the burden with his shoulders. But that is, if you can just keep your options open, I can't fault you for that. Right. That's just being a good businessman.
And it was money well spent, right? And listen, you asked me when I first got on the show, you said, "Hey, I look like MacGyver with all my stuff." You can't be using these big old Duke college words. That's what this iPad is for me to look up the words. What's the word you say? Captionality?
Optionality. It's just optionality.
Nah, man.
It's not a big word.
It's a word I ain't never heard before. I'm going to use that. I got an associate's degree. I'm going to write that down. Optionality.
Boy, look, if you think I'm using big words, hear what this guy to your right says sometimes.
I just still can't get over the fact that you really think Bill Belichick would walk away from the greatest coaching career in NFL history with a thud.
How's it a thud? He's riding off to the sunset. I just told you before.
Well, he's not really riding off in the sunset considering the way the season is going.
They missed the playoffs.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But his legacy is cemented there, right? So nobody remembers the last season. They're just going to remember that he's the greatest coach in history, and he brought him 6 Super Bowls. And, Kraft would let him walk away on his own because he said, "You know what? You exceeded expectations." No different than him letting, Tom Brady leave. And then let's get a young guy in here. Let's get a Louis Riddick up here. Let's get somebody that's got young legs, fresh eyes, that can be the general manager. And you've been promised a job. How long is Josh McDaniels supposed to be an assistant? He's turning down head coaching jobs. Eventually, you got to give the man an opportunity. Like I said, Bill Belichick's hanging around like Jerry Rice did, when he had the dreadlocks that started back here with the mid-school braids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time to give somebody else an opportunity to be great at something. You've been promising Josh McDaniels the opportunity for a long time. You said you was going to give him your world. Well, give him the world. Walk away, go do something else, and build something. And the wins and losses don't go on your permanent record as much when you're the general manager opposed to when you're the head coach.
He's 68. I just can't say him. I can't see him
Right,
saying.
he's 68.
Why not?
He's 68.
Why not, though, Zubin? How
Why
come
not?
we can't see him anywhere? I mean, we would have said this a year ago about Tom Brady. I just can't see Tom Brady finishing his career anywhere else but, the New England Patriots, and now he's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
I don't think the rebuilding plan is 5 years. You guys are saying it's a total stripped down rebuild because they sold out in his words. He can turn it around. You get the right quarterback, they can be back next year.
Who's the right
Listen,
quarterback?
Jim
It could
Kelly.
be anybody.
Listen, they just got Josh Allen. They've been trying to replace the great quarterback in Buffalo for how long? You just assume that you get a franchise quarterback just like that? It doesn't happen like that. You luck into that.
Buffalo missed the playoffs for 17 straight years. Belichick basically made the playoffs for almost the entirety of his 20. You cannot compare those two.
Why? Because he had a Hall of Fame, arguably the greatest quarterback in NFL history. That's why. Now you don't have that. How great are you? How great was Phil Jackson without guys in the triangle? Was it the triangle? Was it Michael Jordan that made the triangle great?
And then it was Kobe Bryant after
and
that.
Shaq, right? So what I'm saying is it's the perfect time to ride off into the sunset and look for something new. Listen, he's always had a soft spot for the Giants. He loves New England, but the Giants are right there close. He has a great respect for the Tisch and the Tisch family. And I'm telling you, if he's going to go anywhere, he'll come to the Giants. And it may be time to ride off to the sunset. You can't coach forever. And listen, the rigors of being on the sideline and the day-to-day stuff at an advanced age gets tough. The fact that he can be the general manager and sit back and just order the pieces, come in when he feel like it, oversee, work from home is a big difference. Watch what I said.
Okay,
Dude.
all right. Well, we'll mark the tape. It could be a shocking development.
Call me Blado, and we're going to bring this tape back up and be like, you know what? He's Blado.
It would be a shocking development if it happens. Just for a little context on exactly the quote about the Jets and leaving and being a great decision, the best thing that ever happened to him. It sort of seems like it comes out of thin air, but then again, they play the Jets twice a year. It's not exactly something that comes up too often, but we should mention when they played on Monday Night Football, there was a piece on the pregame show on Monday Night Countdown where Belichick was asked about that resignation. Yeah. Anytime the Jets and the Pats get together, Belichick's involved. That's going to be a number one storyline. So the hosts on WEEI, our Boston station, essentially said during the weekly interview with Belichick, hey, saw the story on Monday Night Countdown, got the dramatic win over your old team, which you coached for one day. What do you think? And that's where it came out.
Right.
So it didn't come out.
The greatest day of my life.
That's what I'm saying.
Greatest day of my life. Our worst day, greatest day of my life.
I will say, though, for Jets fans, it seems like somebody just keeps pouring salt into your open wound every single day.
You could have had Mahomes. Oh, no. Don't worry. Peyton Manning, he decided to stay in college. Like, thanks. Just keep picking the scab, man.
Keyshawn, J. Will Zubin this morning with Bart Scott, presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests this morning on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Better question. Cam regretting signing with the Pats regretting signing Cam. Which seems like the better statement?
Oh, I thought we was going to break. This is live? We're still going?
We still got a couple minutes.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what. I think that Cam Newton may be saying, you know what? I didn't help my stock for going into free agency so I can get a big deal again, hoping I can get $20 million. They signed me for $1 million, and now I'm taking all the hits. Right? They're blaming me for it was turned down the head coaching job in Indianapolis. At some point, Bill Belichick's going to have to move on, and he won't be able to keep his top assistant, and he might want to give him his world. But Bill Belichick's always had a love for the New York Football Giants. And you talk about Joe Judge being one of his proteges that's come from him. He would probably want to go back there and maybe be the general manager of the New York Football Giants as well. And plus, he can only hurt his legacy there in New England. They're going to be part of a rebuild. You can talk about bringing Jimmy G in, but even if you bring Jimmy G in, Jimmy G will be the fourth best quarterback in the division. So the shifts has changed.
Listen, it's definitely a rebuild, though, Bart. I think to me, and listen, he probably doesn't matter to Bill Belichick. If he leaves after this year, I don't see that as retiring. I don't see that as resigning. I see that as quitting. I see that as your star quarterback, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, left. He went somewhere else. You tried to do it 1 year. You didn't like it, and you quit. And to me, that would affect his legacy more than him trying to rebuild this thing and then not coming to fruition and him having to pass it on to Josh McDaniels.
RC, I like the suit, by the way. Looking sharp like always. Let's talk about the Steelers for one quick second.